up, Buck fans and football fans all over? We're back again, RBT with a live stream. I'm Mark Ramirez. That's Michael Plus with you. And if you're new here, glad to have you aboard. If you're very, very new, make sure, and you haven't done yet, subscribe, like, comment, do all that good stuff down below, as we always say in the videos. But today is a podcast Monday, and we get to go over any Buck news that there has been, even though it's been so damn quiet all along. And that's just it. We're talking rumors and thought processes. And I guess the biggest, latest rumor is the Jamal Adams trade rumors and, what team does he want to go to? I guess, Plus, give me your first thought process on that, and what do you think? Do you think it's even possible? Because, think about this. We didn't think Tom Brady was possible. We didn't think Rob Gronkowski was possible. Possible, but, this one's very, very lacking of possibility. But what do you think?
Yeah, it's very interesting, because the Bucs just invested a lot into the secondary as far as, your secondary. You just drafted Antoine Winfield, and then you have, maybe Justin Evans coming back. So it'll be very interesting to see what, how that takes place and if they do pursue it. But it's going to be very hard to get it done because of salary cap, and you'd have to move some pieces around. And I heard he's interested in coming here, obviously with the Todd Bowles connection, but right now I don't see it as a possibility. It would take a lot of maneuvers, and just don't think the Bucs are really there yet to add a guy like Jamal Adams. I think they trust their young secondary pieces, and they'll go from there.
I agree with that. Plus, you got to think he's going to want another big contract. I think he wanted to be the highest paid safety in the league. Like you just said, we just took a second-round pick in Antoine Winfield Jr. We don't know if Justin Evans is coming back. That's the big question mark. But if he is, you're four safeties deep. Why do you really need to add to another already deep position, right?
Yeah, they really like Jordan Whitehead, and they like Mike Edwards. So yeah, I just don't see it as a likely destination. And like you said, he's going to want a big contract. I hear he wants $20 million plus, which is just that's pretty high for a safety
year
market. Yeah, he wants $20 million plus. And
show me the money. Wow.
right. So yeah, that's a lot to ask for. Yeah, that's a lot to ask for the Bucs, to put that kind of money into the safety group.
Yeah, I know a lot of people think that'd be like icing on the cake, but let's think this through. Great name, yes. Is there connections with Todd Bowles? Yes. Does Tom Brady attract a lot of players? Yes. But statistically, a business move, that's just not there. It's not in the cards. You would think you'd find a veteran that's more affordable. Even in the YouTube chat, Art of Free Speech says we just can't afford Adams. He's right. He's not lying on that. And especially if he's along this $20 million a year crap you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, that's too rich for my money. The Jets would probably pay it. They paid Le'Veon Bell. They'll pay you. So stop trying to run away from the money if that's what you want. So
I agree.
Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And you still have to sign your rookies. We still have to sign our draft picks, and so we need certain resources in place to take care of that business first. And so there might be some maneuvers coming up that we just haven't seen yet. Once we get closer to the training camp and season. So there's a lot of things that need to take place before we even think about adding a Jamal Adams, and you'd have to give up compensation for him as well. So that's just something I don't see Jason Light, pulling the trigger on.
I 100% agree with that. But let's keep going into Bucs in the news. I always bring this up. Pretty much this offseason, guys, Jamal Adams was the biggest thing to talk about. But let's keep going on. So the story over here is Tom Brady's biggest challenge with the Buccaneers downfield passing. This is something we've touched on in the past, but let's quickly go over it really quick.
Yeah, sure.
Tom Brady's biggest challenge is downfield passing. Everyone thinks about Bruce Arians, Byron Leftwich, they want to push the ball down the field. We've kind of touched on it a lot, saying, again, if you're being able to read the defense faster, know if it's even going to be there, and not sit and hold the ball, we got the best game manager there is to make that decision faster. He's going to read and see mismatches on the field before it's even there. and he's going to read if it's a man. If it's a man that's dragging across, my man can beat him. Matchup is for me. So it's just more quick reading. He's not going to be sitting in there holding it, having to do what Jameis did a lot. He's not going to force himself to beat Jameis because Tom Brady's done it for 20 years. He's done it pretty damn good. And he didn't do it by holding the ball for 7 seconds. So I think that's the biggest difference. Will it be downfield passing? Yeah, but it won't be that long of a hold because it doesn't need to be. You can throw it 2.5, 3 seconds, and that's a downfield pass. What's your take?
Yeah, and again, you're right. We've touched on it before. Tom Brady he throws with anticipation, so he's going to understand when to throw it downfield and when not to. He just knows how to read it, and he knows how to see it very quickly, like you said, and that's why he's one of the best because he doesn't hold the ball long. He gets the ball out of his hands very quickly, and he distributes. He's like a point guard out there. So, if he's got something available open quickly, I mean, that's what he's going to go for. If he understands that he has a shot downfield, then he's going to attack it. And he's done a pretty good job of that, of being successful as far as, getting the ball downfield with accuracy. That never has been an issue. He still has pretty good arm strength. So it's going to be exciting to see how he utilizes, what he has out there. He's never had guys like Chris Godwin or Mike Evans that can, pretty much do a little bit of everything. And their skill set is definitely getting downfield and making big plays. So that will be fun. And then obviously, the tight end groom that we have and OJ Howard and Rob Gronkowski. So it should be very exciting, and not to mention Cam Brate. So a lot of things to work with. I
mean, like you said, he hasn't had a room like this before. I mean, not just a room, just in general, this amount of talented players, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, we've been talking about that left and right. Well, let's go on to the next one. Buccaneers in the news. Tom Brady calls out skinny Gronkowski. So, I mean, going into that, calls out Rob Gronkowski. Not now. Get out of the way. I mean, skinny Gronk. So, I guess let's look at this. I guess one bicep's bigger than the other. I mean, either way, there was some pictures where he did look semi-slimmer, but there's still time before the season starts. I think he can still put on a good 5-10 pounds. He doesn't need to be 265, 270. I think he's got a lot of help around him where he's not going to have to bear the load. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. And maybe that is going to be a benefit to him as far as getting more downfield, being a faster player and, being a little bit more athletic, not as heavy. So, if he wants to play that way, then yeah, I'm fine with that. He knows his body and he's going to be where he needs to be when the time is right. So yeah, I have no issue with it. But that's funny that, Tom Brady calls him out, and that, and that's just, that's Tom and Rob just, having some fun. That's their kind of relationship. So no, I think it's good. And it'll be exciting to see how he plays. He should be very fresh and, maybe he'll be running a 4.6 out there.
God, could you imagine? We got a couple questions before we move on to more Bucs in the news. Matty SOP says, will the offense with Tom Brady be more sped up, slower, or about the same?
Yeah, that's a great question, Matt. Thanks for joining the chat, as always. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a little bit of everything, to be honest. I think this offense can play with tempo. I think Tom has shown in the past where he likes to, if he knows the defense is on its heels, he likes to keep it going and attack and keep it up pace. But then he knows when to slow it down and he knows when to, be methodical and take his time. So I think it'll be a good balance of everything.
I agree. I mean, perfect game manager. We've said that before. He'll make the decision that needs to be made.
Right.
Even pre-snap, he'll make it before then. So it's not. It could be fast. It could be longer tempo. It matters the situation we're at in the game. I mean, if it's a 3rd and short, I wouldn't expect him to hold the ball long. He's going to want to get rid of it quick on a quick mismatch, and if it's a quick slant play or if it's a long developing route. I mean,
yeah.
It all depends on the play that's happening, the situation in the game. There's a lot that goes into it, but I think he'll just, again, game manager, he'll know when to hold it longer. He'll know when to get rid of it faster.
Yeah, for sure. And we've seen Tom in the past with New England. He does a really good job of, understanding situations. So if it's like 3rd and 1, like you were saying, like he'll hurry up to the line right there and just do like a quick quarterback sneak or what have you, to get that first down. So he does a really good job of keeping it balanced and keeping the defense off balance, and that's the whole goal of the offense, to be honest. And that's how you attack in different ways and you be successful.
Yeah. And then so Art of Free Speech said again, he said, to be fair, very few quarterbacks in history have had a wide receiver / tight end group like Brady has right now.
That's true.
You're not lying.
Very true.
But the funny thing is that they're still somewhat unheard of, the group that we have.
Right.
I mean, to be honest, when he had Randy Moss and Wes Welker, they were more bigger names. I mean, Chris Godwin he's about to have a huge spotlight on him. He's about to prove to the world of how good he really is. Is he really that good of a top 10, possibly top 5 wide receiver, or is he just had one fluke of a good year because Jameis could get away from defenders and get it to him down the field, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you're going to see big time of that. And then, like he just said, Gronk, OJ, Brate, the list goes on and on.
Same with Mike Evans. I mean, Mike Evans should be talked about nonstop as one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in the game. And, he doesn't get the recognition. It's kind of similar to the Levante David thing, as far as just the whole recognition thing goes. And, that comes with winning. If this team starts winning, Mike Evans is going to be talked a lot about, because he rightfully so, he deserves it. I mean, he's got 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons. It's crazy. Like, that's very impressive. And same thing with Levante. I mean, he's just been one of the top linebackers in the game and still hasn't been to, Pro Bowls or what have you. So, I mean, they're going to get their deserved recognition this season for sure, especially with the 5 primetime games that we have.
Yeah, and guys in the chat, since you're here in the live stream, we'll give you a good heads up of what we're going to do later on in the week. We're talking about Levante David. That will be our main big video we do this week. Levante deserves the respect he truly deserves. Doesn't get it at all. Has he ever been an all-pro player? I don't believe he has been.
No.
And he should have been this year after year after year. And it's a long video, but it's going to be real nice. Let's put it that way. So be prepared for that one. But let's keep talking in the group chat.
Sure.
So forgive me if I'm saying this name wrong. Melu? I don't know. Melu? Someone says, you guys are awesome. Thank you, buddy. He says, do you guys think they will let fans in the stadium this year?
Man. I hope, but the way this COVID thing is going and now it's even spiking more and we're having second waves now, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to, find a way to control that. There's a lot of logistics that's going to go into it. I mean, how do you keep fans, 6 feet apart and do all that, inside the stadium? And, you only sell a certain amount of tickets or, stuff like that. I don't know. It's going to be very tough. I think right now, I would say it's going to be no fans. I mean, just like you're seeing with the, overseas in Korea, with the baseball and they're having empty
and stuff.
They're having empty stadiums, and I think soccer's doing the same thing overseas where they're playing, but there's no fans in the stands. So that's probably what we're looking at, and the same thing goes with, the restarting the basketball, I think,
they slowed it down because they're scared about.
Oh, did they shut it down?
Well, they didn't shut it down, but they're scared, so I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah, same thing with baseball. I know they're trying to work it out. So hockey, I think, is maybe on the go. I don't know how that's working. So, yeah, I mean, right now I think it's going to be probably no fans, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, as long as we're going to see football, I mean,
that's all that matters.
I can't take another – I mean, how long can you prevent this? I mean, this kind of goes into the next – Buccaneers in the news. 2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers have tested positive. They're not giving away the names because obviously Zeke Elliott got pissed off. You shouldn't give away. That's private. That's your life. I mean, if it's your injury during the season, okay, it kind of has to come out because that's what ended your season. This, I mean, that's their right. I mean, there's no point in giving away their personal matters of who has it, who doesn't have it. But then there's also, let's see, I think there's 11 total people. I forgot the total amount, but I mean, still, that goes into will they allow like fans in the stands? I mean, this is what 3 months away now, July, August, September,
right?
So it's looking unlikely. I don't see a big change happening in 3 months. Do I see them playing? To be honest, if there's a sport where they have a lot of covering them from the other person, it's football. I mean, you're wearing pads, you're wearing gloves, you have a face mask. I guess get a shield for their mouth, I guess. But other than that, I mean, God, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, they got to do what's best for everyone involved, and that's including the fans. So, they got to do what's right and got to keep people safe. And, but yeah, as far as the news goes, I'm not surprised that, we had some people test positive. I mean, that's happening around everywhere. There's new positives coming every day. So, right here in Florida, we have 1,000, 2,000 new positives every day. So it's happening, and we just hope for the best going forward, and hopefully we can get this thing contained and turned around.
100%. I mean, well, let's go from a sad downer to let's go to more of a positive outlook, and let's look at Tom Brady.
Okay.
Let's look
Tom
at Tom
Brady's good.
Sporting his new Tampa Bay Buccaneer uniform. When I see that red 12, all I can think of is Trent Dilfer.
I thought the same thing. I was like, yeah. I was like, don't bring me back those days.
But that face looks a lot different than Trent Dilfer, I'll be honest.
Right, yeah. Trent had the big smile on his face, and it's just. But yeah, Tom looks good in that uniform, and it's a nice uniform.
Look at the mitts on that dude. Jeez.
Right.
Banana hands.
It looks very clean. So.
Right. I mean. Went
it looks good.
Mr. COVID-19 to number TB12. So, I mean, this is the hype that we're seeing right now as Buck fans because there's nothing else to really harp on. I mean, besides looking at Brady looking so clean in his outfit.
Yeah. Yep.
Look at that butt chin. Thoroughly wiped it prior to the shoot. But let's keep going on to the chat. So, it was William spelt backwards. Melo. Yeah, it was William spelt backwards. Let's keep going. So Fred F says may allow less than 50% into the stadium. I would hope. They allow something, but I don't know.
Yeah, they very well could do that.
Yeah. He also said.
Maybe.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say maybe like spread out the fans, between the 3 levels, and just have them in certain sections. But
6 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, now we got the white.
Yeah, that looks good. I like the white uniform. It looks nice.
Everything just looks clean. I mean.
Yeah, much better.
Jeez.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
you don't have to worry about identifying which number is which. Because it was kind of tough. Like with the old uniforms, it could be hard to tell which number is who. Just because based on the font.
And that stupid orange coming into the.
Yeah. Yeah. So
now there it is.
that's good.
Now we rolling.
Yeah.
Damn.
Did you end up getting some jerseys or no?
I haven't yet. I had to buy windows and stuff. I'm a cheap ass. So
I understand. I haven't bought anything yet. So.
But I mean, hey, God, let's just see them in action, please.
I'll probably get like one of the jersey T-shirts. That's probably what I'll do. They're a lot less expensive.
Autocorrect, please. No, I guess not. But let's keep going on. So Fred F is also a longtime Pats fan. He says Brady has a quick release. Brady is more about brains than arm strength. I fully agree, Fred F. It's just getting the rest of Bucs Nation and just fans in general to understand that. I mean, it's not going to be Bruce Arians just yelling down his throat. If a guy's produced 20 years, the brains will take over. He's going to make the decisions. Bruce Arians isn't making the decisions on the field.
Right.
Let's see. Let's keep going down the line. Buck Skull Gang in the house. He said, do you guys think we trade for Jamal Adams? We kind of answered that, plus I'll let you take it. real quick?
Yeah. We talked about that earlier to start the show, and I don't see it happening right now. Just based on like we said, compensation and price tag is going to be hefty, and we just really can't afford them unless we make some moves like maybe cutting a Cam Braid or William Golston. But then you look at your depth, and that hurts your team more. And I think they're very confident in the second round draft pick, Antoine Winfield, to take over as free safety. And you still have Justin Evans. And then, they really like Jordan Whitehead as well as Mike Edwards. So I think they're happy with that group. And you still have, Dakota Dixon coming back. So, it's a talented group that they have there.
Well, actually, this is a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
I know you addressed the Jamal Adams question. This needs to be addressed. So, this is brutal as Bucks. I know Jameis is off the team, but he had a Jameis question.
Okay.
And, hey, we have nothing else to talk about, so let's discuss, right? This is what Real Bucks talks about. We're trying to talk it out with you guys fans and what we think and have everyone thinks together to form a conclusion. He said, the biggest mistake is everyone saying Jameis held the ball too long. There is no data that shows that it's just a cheap excuse to blame Jameis rather than address the real issue. He said the real issue is bottom 5 O-line. What's your first initial thoughts on that? And I will take it after.
Oh, man. Bottom 5.
Wait, before you answer that, Brutal as Buck said he had COVID and it's weak as hell. Most overblown thing ever. Hey. I mean, I guess you're not 75 or over, 65 or over. But I mean, that's a good thing you fought it off. You're a strong man. Or I'm hoping man or woman. I don't know. Whichever one you are, you're strong. But go ahead, Plus. Jameis, O-line, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Jameis he was just his biggest he's his biggest enemy. I mean, he kind of he always hurt himself because of the turnovers and just his biggest issue was pre-snap and understanding where to go post-snap. And that's O-line or no O-line. I mean, yes, at times our O-line was inconsistent and he would have guys in his face right away at certain times. But that's with every team. You're going to have that. You're going to have breakdowns on the offensive line. But to say they're bottom 5, I wouldn't go that far. I think the offensive line was better than most as far as pass protection. And I think Jameis had time to make things happen for the most part. But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, it just didn't work out for Jameis. I mean, you could say offensive scheme and all these things and make these excuses, but Jameis just didn't really progress, to be honest, as far as understanding where to go with the football consistently, and that led to turnovers and really put his team in bad positions, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm going to fully agree with Plus. We agree on a lot of things, but it's just I agree with him pre-snap reads. He just wouldn't read it right. And he would say this on record multiple times. He would say, I trust my guys to win over the other guys. That is blatantly dumb to say. I mean, that's just saying that I'm going to run a play no matter what, it's going to go this way. And my guy's going to win. Even though the defense is set up to beat that, I'm still going to trust my guys and to cut across when even I know that defender is going to jump right in front of it. That to me is dumb, especially in a press conference. Then he would make the same mistakes he made the first year and his fifth year. And yes, he made some miraculous plays. I mean, there were some times I'm like, how in the hell? How? There's just no way you can do that. And that's the special part where people were like, I don't want to let this go. This is something that's special. If we can just get rid of some of those interceptions, some of those turnovers, then we got it. But that's the thing. 5 years in, you're still saying if. And do you really see a brighter future moving forward, even though he knows at times he would say, I don't know what the issue is.
Yeah.
And it sounded like Cutter from last year. If you don't know, obviously you know. It's just you just can't figure it out. It's something that's not clicking. And some people said, oh, Bruce Arians want to get rid of him because he's a QB whisperer and he didn't want to have his name tainted. Oh, God. Come on. He's done this 6 years in a row. He did it his last year at Florida State too. So, I mean, we were both one of his biggest fans. We went to the draft. I don't know if anyone knows this. We went to the draft to watch him being drafted. And we were his number one fan. We wanted him over Mariota, and we're hyped. And we were like, oh, that first year that's a wash. He's just learning. Second year, okay. Sophomore slump. Third year, he's going to show it. It just never kind of clicked. We didn't even give a shit about this off the field stuff. I mean, he's just, you think college, you're immature. Some of this stuff, I mean, when you saw him off the field, he was the most community well-known guy. He would talk to all these kids and do all the right things. He would just be in stupid situations at the wrong time, it would seem. So, I mean, some people called us Jameis haters. It was just more a realistic belief that, okay, obviously after 5 years, how many more times can I say, let me keep going back to you, right? So, and then if you're proving to me over and over and over, you're doing the same mistakes again and again, you're not reading pre-snap, you're not making decisions of what the defense is giving you, you're not taking the easy chip shots like a Brady does to win constantly. And even, I'm going to leave it alone. Even Bruce Arians would say it.
Yeah.
You don't get broke putting money in the bank, right? He just wouldn't put money in the bank. He'd go for the slot machines or something. I don't know. But, yeah, this is just a big touchy subject for every Buck fan. He's in the New Orleans Saints now.
Yeah.
Hey, he has a good decision to do that, to learn behind one of the best too. But, hey, good luck, Jameis. I feel like too many people down the offensive line. We have some videos on our O-line, especially Donovan Smith, who everyone thinks sucks. He's a lot better than you think. Way too long and thought out, but let me go on to the next one. Art of Free Speech says, I'm an old man too. I just really didn't like the old unis, but it's an opinion on aesthetic, so there is no right or wrong answers about it. You like what you like. I guess they were talking about if you like the really old unis, like the creamsicle stuff.
Yeah.
As opposed to this one.
Yeah, I don't mind the creamsicle either, but I like the pewter and the red, classic from the the 97, forward, and I think it's a good look. And I especially like it with the new helmet, with the bigger logo, so I think it looks really good, and hopefully that means more winning.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
There's some other Jameis questions. Let's touch those real quick. While we're on Jameis, if Breeze gets hurt, do you think Hill starts or Jameis?
I think they'll go with Taysom Hill right now. It seems like he's the number 2, but we will see how that plays out.
I would think Jameis. Just Taysom, he hasn't really shown much, but
true. He's a gimmick guy. Yeah.
And then someone said reason why, because Jameis can't see. He can see now. If that happened 5 years, that's his fault. That's not the Bucs organizational fault. And what was it? It was farsighted. No, nearsightedness, right? He could see near, he just couldn't see far.
Right.
So maybe that would affect his deep ball, but his deep ball was better this year. So I don't think it was as bad as people think.
Right.
I don't know.
I think that's overblown, I think, in my opinion.
He wore contacts, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. Just for Bucs fans to know, Brady hasn't lost a step. He had the worst wide receiver core in the NFL. This is from Fred F. Last in separation, also had a bad O-line and running game with the Pats. That's actually a really good point because their running game was very similar to ours. It was very low in the amount of runs they did, and they weren't producing when they ran the ball. And I thank you as a Pats fan saying that, because most Buc fans think our O-line just sucks. We can't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball, but we'll never be able to run the ball like Jim Mora from the past. So, plus, go ahead and take it.
No, I think he's right. Their offensive line, I think, was worse than ours, in my opinion. So, and then you look at your receiving core. Yeah, definitely. They didn't really have anybody to throw to. It was just not very consistent. They had a lot of young guys. They had what's the guy from McNeil? I think Henry, or the rookie that they had last year. I can't think of his name. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy. So he was up and down, and then they had a couple other guys that just, were injured or didn't pan out. And then their offensive line was, it was a mess. I mean, it really wasn't good. Tom Brady got hit probably the most ever in a season last season. So it's he's coming to an upgrade in our offensive line, in my opinion. I think it's much better, and I think it's actually going to look very good coming up this season.
Hey, guys, I mean, you'll be surprised what happens when a guy makes faster decisions. I mean, it's like he said it's not that he just held on to the ball, but sometimes it was because someone else said in the chat, he would sometimes run into sacks. He did.
Oh, yeah, Jameis, yeah, for sure.
Sometimes he got out of it, sometimes he didn't. And then Fred F. again. And he still got 12 wins with Brady's lesser than talent around him and O-line blocking for him. But again, before we go on to the next subject, guys, if you haven't, please like, comment, subscribe. Give us some comments down below. I mean, we'll read them later and talk about them in another live stream or bring them into one of our player breakdowns. Especially if you have a player breakdown, put it down in the comments down below. Which player do you want? Whether it be college, pro, Buccaneer. I mean, we're going to do mainly Bucks, but put it down below. Let us see what you have to say. And if you haven't subscribed, you better get down there. Other than that, let's keep going. Let's see. Jordan Durr says, I don't understand. That's a new name too. So welcome, Jordan Durr. He says, I don't understand why our fan base is nervous about Brady in the long ball. This is not Madden. Yards don't equal wins. We need the ball distributed to the right people when it should be distributed. You know what? Let me see. That deserves a couple of woos. I mean,
yeah.
Take it away. He said it for me. I'm going to shut up and listen.
Yeah, Jordan, don't be a stranger, please. Join us every live stream here Monday at 8 p.m. Your comments are welcome anytime, because you said it perfectly. That's what offense is, distributing the ball to the right people. That's what we need to, have happen. And that's what we're looking for. And I think we will get it because of Tom Brady. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Shouldn't be worried at all.
Jordan says, takes a bow. Hey, you deserve it, buddy. I mean, you said it how it should be said. I mean, point blank.
That's all we wanted Jameis to do. And unfortunately, he just couldn't get past what he was, fighting. And that was always trying to make the big play. And we just wanted him to take some, just some short shots and keep the ball moving. And he could just never do it consistently. He did it at times, and you're like, wow, can we have that every week? But he would just revert back to the same habits and ended up, costing his team, wins, consistently. It's just hard when you put your defense in a bind like that with the turnovers. And that's all we were saying. And again, it sounds like harsh criticism, but it's just the facts, guys. That's what we try to put out there.
Yeah, just as you said, facts. Buck Skull Gang in the house says facts. Yeah. But I mean, before we move on from Jameis,
you better check your sheet. I'm balling.
Okay, so let's leave it at that. But in the chat, Antonio Andres Martinez says, hi from Spain. Hell yeah. We got Buck fans all the way from Spain. You know what?
It's awesome. Welcome.
Woo! There you go. You get another one. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the Bucks Talk. Real Bucks Talk. We'll try and give you as much as we can.
What's the time over there?
Ooh. Yeah, what is the time, Antonio? Let us know in the chat. But keep going. You know what? Let's actually get to this point before. I know we're talking a lot of Brady, Jameis, and stuff, but let's go over to this. This is actually something pretty big in Bucks news. Albert Breer coming out on Twitter saying 14 teams used franchise tag this year. Cowboys QB Dak Prescott became the 10th to sign his tender, leaving 4 guys unsigned. What name is this right here? Top of the list.
Yeah.
Bucks outside linebacker Shaq Barrett. Deadline is July 15th to sign that franchise tender. So, you tell me, Plus. So, will he sign it, first of all? Do you think he signs it? Or do you think we find a long-term deal? And then if he doesn't sign it, what the hell happens?
Yeah, that's a really good question and topic, and it's coming right around the corner as we're only a couple weeks away from it. I think he most likely signs the tender, but I think maybe somehow we find a long-term deal before that day to create cap space as well, because we're going to need cap space to sign our rookies and stuff like that. So maybe we put something together before that. But ultimately, what I'm saying is he's going to be a Buccaneer in 2020. I don't think they let him go past that deadline.
I mean, I almost want to say I hope they don't.
Right.
I mean, this season's just been so weird. 2020 has just been weird. So I don't know. I can't give you an honest answer. I think his best business decision is to. Either way, it's a whole crap ton of money. He's even said it in the past. That's the most money he's seen I guess, ever in a
Mm-hmm.
NFL contract. So why the hell not and bet on yourself, especially with a loaded team, and you could still
Right.
be another big highlight of the team. So you won't get 20 sacks. I mean, that's probably what he wants, the production of give me the amount of money 20 sacks deserves, as opposed
Right.
to playing another year and you only get 10. Then the Bucs will have a leverage chip saying, oh, well, 10 sacks gets you this much, 20 sacks gets you this. We'll give you somewhere in the middle. He wants what 20 is. And I understand both sides, but
Yeah, I think you also got to look at COVID, being a potential delay, because I don't know if they can really bring him into the building, and you have to get maybe they want to make sure he's healthy and good, no injuries or what have you, take a physical. I don't know if that plays a part into it, probably not, but that just could be something. But and then also talking with his agents and having everybody involved as far as discussion. So maybe that could be a potential delay, because you have to figure out the terminologies and all that of a long-term deal. So maybe they're just playing it out, until the final, day, and see what happens there. I don't know if he doesn't sign, as far as the tender, what happens after that. I'm not sure if he goes into, unrestricted free agent or what have you. I don't know how that works. I think Clowney did that. What was it, last year or the year before, where he didn't
Last year.
sign? And was it last year? Yeah, or maybe he did sign. I don't know. I forget how that plays out. I
think
know
he signed
Yannick.
and got traded, right?
Yeah, but I think it was like later on in the year. It was like past the deadline. So I'm just not sure how those rules play into effect. That's something we'll have to look up. But um, looking at Yannick Ngakoue, I'm pretty sure he won't sign his team, because of what he's put out there. Obviously he wants to be traded. And then who was the other names? Yeah, like AJ Green and
Oh,
I forget the other name.
AJ Green wouldn't sign? Ooh.
Yeah.
Guys, don't even think about it. Don't put it out there. But let's keep going. So Antonio said
definitely.
it's 2:37 a.m. Wow.
Wow. Appreciate it.
Hey, yeah, thanks, buddy. I mean, hope we're
That's
giving you the
commit-
content you want to see,
That's commitment.
right? And then Buck Skull Gang in the house said, see my comment earlier. I think it's this one. Buck's best wide receiver core in league. Jameis Winston throws for 5,000 yards in offense, and he threw 30 touchdowns. How many yards Tom Brady have? How many touchdowns will he have? Considering he's got the best wide receiver core. I guess prediction game. Go ahead, Plus.
I'm going to say probably a little over 45,000 yards, and I'm going to say 35 touchdowns. That's what I'll put him at, somewhere in that area.
4,535 touchdowns?
Yeah.
I'll say 4,230 touchdowns because we're going to run the ball more.
Yeah, could be
And I
right.
hope so. I hope we're in the lead and we can actually run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I would say even almost 30 touchdowns. I mean, I want to say, 5,500 yards, 60 touchdowns. But let's. I hope he comes in with that demeanor, like, I'm going to blow this top off. I'm going to freaking shove it in Belichick's face. I'm going to show that I'm a 43-year-old man that can do it. So come in that way. But I'm going to be hype train of team, not just Brady. Because I think just overall the team is just so stacked.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. People saying hope Shaq Barrett gets signed. 2020 is awful. Yes, it is. There hasn't been many highlights. I mean,
Yeah, it's been tough.
I mean, gosh. Still about touchdowns Brady will throw. Just end COVID. Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
TB12 is going to set a record. I hope so. I can see that. How many yards is Rojo going to get?
That's a good question. I'm going to say he'll get over 1,000 if he's healthy. I think he's going to get the more attempts that we've been looking for, and like you said, the running game I think is going to be better because of said Tom Brady and the way the offense is going to be able to operate. I think our offensive line is going to be better, with Tristan Wirfs in there and being able to run block to the right or to the left. I think that's going to make a big difference. And just Rojo being better overall. I think him being more seasoned and being able to see things more clearer, I think that's going to help. So I'd say over 1,000. I don't know exact number, but over 1,000.
Yeah, I'm going to say easily over 1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost had 700 last year. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I mean, he had 1,000 yards from scrimmage, so running and catching.
I mean, he's number one option. give it to him when he's hot. Vaughn splitting the carries.
Yeah.
I think Rojo once again, like Brady and his ability to make a quick pass. Jameis didn't really hit the quick pass, so people are going to be looking at the quick outlet more than they're going to be looking at Rojo running it in between the tackles. And guess what? Rojo can run in between the tackles, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw our video on that, but the dude's good. Just give him some more opportunities, and he's going to do it. MJ says no more than 1,000 for Rojo. If he breaks 1,000, then I'll take it. 1,000 on the dot. I'll take it. And he's going to get a bigger contract probably because of that. Jordan Durr says we have been stacked for the last few years. On paper, it was always pick your poison. You can't stop all of them. I finally believe we have the right general in place to make that true.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Jordan, just keep coming back every Monday. We appreciate it. So you're making sense. Too much sense that one of us might get kicked off the show. We might be taking our place.
Hey, like, this is the stuff that we want to see. I mean, but it's not like we're always going to agree. I mean, there's going to be points where we disagree, but still, like, he's making sense. We have always had pick your poisons on paper. I mean, we've been loaded on weapons. It's just we don't win, so those weapons don't get called upon on national media because we're not winners.
Right.
I mean, yes, Godwin and Evans got Pro Bowl ability, but Levante's never heard of because we don't win. Yeah. And we're always getting thrown all over. It's not just his one fault for doing that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we'll keep going. So, Buck Skull Gang in the house says, Vita Vea, play fullback. Next, Marker Cert? I don't know who that is. Marcus Cert? I don't know.
I'm not sure. But I like Vita Vea at fullback.
I mean, the refrigerator. I hope you meant that. I don't know. But Naeem Thomas, how much better do you think our secondary improves bearing injury? Good question.
Plus, yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think, guys in the chat, I think you've seen our Jamel Dean. If you haven't, go check it out. But, yeah, we're really high on him. I think we're going to have a video. Well, I shouldn't share that. I won't. But, yeah, I mean, I like our secondary. I think it's got a lot of potential. Again, it just depends, like you said, if healthy, I think they can be really good. It depends, and it also depends on how fast, Antoine Winfield picks up his game. Can Mike Edwards take that next step and become a little bit better than he was last season? And same thing with Jamel Dean. Can he take that next step? And we showed in the video of his smarts and awareness, so we think he can. So we're really excited about him, and obviously Carlton Davis, So, and then we didn't talk about Sean Murphy-Bunting, and there's a lot of good things in the secondary. Obviously if we have an injury here or there, there could be some changes made. Does Ryan Smith go to the outside, or do you have MJ Stewart, playing the nickel? So when you get, lower in the depth chart, you're looking for guys to step up, and maybe we have that in like a Parnell Motley, the undrafted guy that we highlighted as well. So we'll see how that all plays out, but it'll be very interesting to watch that secondary come together and really be a fun group to watch. Yeah.
So touching on what you said too, like, it's so young, they learn together. You just saw all of them get better game by game. And right. I'm going to butcher how he said this, but Sean Murphy-Bunting in an interview with Carmen, what's her name?
Vitale,
I believe it was. He was like, well, last year I was just learning where I needed to be. Now I'm studying what the offense is doing to know how to beat them. Mm-hmm. So if he already knows where he's supposed to be in the defensive set, now he's studying the other team. You couldn't do everything at once. As a rookie, you just got to be able to play fast and know where you need to be. So if he knows where to be already, just in the back of his mind, that's second nature. Now he's looking, he already feels awareness-wise where he has to be. Now he's looking and reading what's going on with what his assignment is. That's the cool part of getting better as a whole in a defense, as an individual in Sean Murphy-Bunting. And then you have it as a whole in a defense because you have guys like Sue, Vita Vea, Levante David that have been doing it for a couple of years now. Levante's been doing it forever. JPP, good, actually, William someone said JPP film analysis coming down the road, but you got guys like that who know how to do it. And now you have the young guys learning, feeling that accountability. Like, these older guys are expecting me to produce, and they're all of the right mind. That's the biggest thing that I think. And I don't see any like prima donnas. I don't see guys that are like, oh no, I'm Sean Murphy, Bunting Island. Like, I don't see any of that crap. So they all seem go ahead, addicted to winning, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on it. You talked about, Sean, understanding what he needed to do, and then, understanding how to attack offenses. And we saw that, late in the year, with the pick 6 against Detroit, making plays on the football. He started to get more interceptions as the year, went down the wire there, and making more plays and being in the right spot. So, yeah, I mean, that just shows you how quickly they were learning. Jamel Dean, I think, played only like 5 games, and he ended up with 17 pass defenses, which is just crazy. Carlton Davis had 19. So I think they had 96 on the year. So that's really good. Like that's very impressive. Shows it's a very aggressive defense. It fits their style of play, which is really nice. And I'm excited to see what they can do. Everyone talks about the offense, and I'm always talking the defense because I think this unit is going to be – it's just going to be fun to watch, just to see them fly around. And I think we got something special brewing on that side of the ball that is going to help us win more consistently, because defense wins championships. And we all know it. We won it in 2002 with a defense that was phenomenal. And I'm not saying this defense is going to be up to that level, but I think they're going to be very good and much better than what we've seen in the past.
Oh, gosh, I fully agree with that defense. I mean, it's just right there. It's just little things where they would give up last year. But then a lot of that's youth. I mean, once you learn it, put it in the back of your mind, you know what it looks like, you can repeat it and actually succeed the next time.
Right, but, for sure.
I guess, let's see, a couple of notes because we're kind of getting near the end here. Bucs defense will be much better. Opposing teams will be forced to pass because of Bucs' high-scoring offense. Thank you, Fred F. Jordan Durr says, Plus already follows me on Twitter. I'm just finally interacting with him live. Been loving you guys' content forever.
Appreciate it, man.
Hell yeah. Want to breathe throw. Jamel Dean was on track to beat the NFL record of pass deflections. He was on track for 51 deflections and 6 interceptions. Jeez.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is MJ says, I want to see more of Ryan Smith. You think he's a better cornerback, nickel, or free safety? That's your boy. I'll let you talk on that one.
Yeah, I was big on Ryan Smith coming out of the draft. I actually wrote an article when we had our website and actually predicted him, coming to Tampa Bay, or at least highlighting him. And, I was excited when they took him in the 4th round. I think he's got a lot of potential. Unfortunately, with the Mike Smith, when we had him as our defense coordinator, I think he got shuffled around too much. And they, moved him from safety to cornerback, and really just couldn't find an identity that he wanted to, get comfortable with. And I thought he never did get comfortable. And then he had games where he played really well on the outside, and then for whatever reason, they didn't play him the following week. So, I like him as an outside corner. I think that's where he fits best. And hopefully he gets the opportunities there instead of, moving around other areas.
I was surprised he signed back, actually.
I was too. Yeah, I think he was hoping he had a bigger market, and it just didn't work out that way.
And he is an ace on special teams. He's a hell of a gunner. I mean, we saw the difference when he was out for those 4 games because of suspension.
He is special teams. Right? So that's what he is.
So, I mean, I guarantee he wants to be an outside corner. Maybe, like you said, the market wasn't there. But, I mean, he's fast. He is semi-aggressive. He just, to me, just doesn't have the awareness of when these guys are cutting, doesn't read it fast enough. But, I mean, it's been a long time, but maybe it's just the opportunity. You don't know.
Yeah, right.
There was a question here. So, Jordan, again, with some, Fred F., great show, guys. Just subscribe. Thank you, Fred.
Appreciate it, Fred. Thank you.
Jordan Durr said, there's been some players that have lit the world on fire immediately and make people think this is the norm and not the exception. It's a learning curve in the NFL. We need to be patient with our kids. I want to touch on that real quick. I talked about off screen or off podcast, whatever the hell we're doing, with you about it. Gerald Mccoy, when he was first drafted here, he got injured the first 2 years in a row. I think it was his bicep both years or something like that.
Right.
And it was like, he's a bust. He's a piece of trash. Just based off of injuries. And little you know, he starts staying healthy and he starts producing. Our Scotty Miller video that we put up, people were like, oh, he's not going to become anything. He's too small. He's too weak. People are just throwing him around. I look at that. I'm like, it's like you're looking at the glass half empty kind of way. Look at what he is doing well. So, I mean, you can't always just highlight the good because you got to look at both sides. But usually as a coach, as an offense, you're looking at what they do best. So if Scotty Miller can burn the damn sideline net down and you're making it available for everyone else, you have to respect that speed. And if you're going that fast, obviously, if you get hit off your track, you're going to tumble. But the thing is, he made some pretty good ass catches and he cut on a dime at times. And those short routes, there's kind of end around or just turn around quick hitch. I mean, he did some of those routes that Brady's known to hit very often, and he likes those shifty guys in the slot. Could he become that? Possibly, but I'm not going to totally say based off of 5 games that he played in, only 13 catches, he's a washed-up loser. I mean, patience. You got to have patience. I mean, this is the eye on the prize. It's like a stock market trade. You just made it. You're not going to immediately get rid of it. You got to see what you got, and if you invested in it, you better have done your research. I hope the Bucs did it, but he's got that speed. He's got that J.J. Nelson. I think he's got better hands than that. But I guess he was just mentioning about the cornerbacks, but I agree. Just be patient. I'm sorry to go off on a tangent.
No, you're good. I agree with that as well. I mean, it's the same thing. Like we had it with Rojo and Alex Kappa. You know, everyone wanted to throw them out of the window and draft somebody different. And you know, you got to give them time. You know, give them time to develop, and that's how we did it. You know, in the early or the late 90s and the 2000s, we had guys that we would develop and be better. I mean, Rondé Barber sucked his first year, and then he was out of the world, you know, the next couple of seasons because he had more time to develop and learn. Brian Kelly, same thing. You know, Sheldon Quarles didn't start right away. So these are guys that you have to, you know, draft and develop and see what happens. But you got to give them those opportunities to really learn the league. I mean, same thing with Vita Vea. You know, Vita Vea had those injuries early on, and everyone said he was a bust and this and that. Now he's one of the best defensive tackles in the league. So it's like, you know, you got to give these guys some time to really grow and mature. And people forget, like, these guys are coming into the league at 20 years old. You know, some of them 20, 21. You know, they're not mature in their bodies yet. So it takes time for these guys to really become what they're going to be, you know, 6-7 years down the road.
Yeah, like I said, longevity, you can't just impulse react, right?
Right, exactly.
Last couple questions, we're getting kind of long on the live stream. So there's Tyrod Johnson is good, too. What do you think he's going to be on the field this year as a rookie?
Is he meaning Tyler Johnson?
Tyler Johnson.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Tyler, I think, is definitely going to have a role for sure. I think him and Scotty are going to be kind of, you know, mix and match and have you know, just see who really takes over that position, you know, whether it be Scotty or whether it be Tyler. So that's going to be a good battle to see how they're utilized. But, yeah, Tyler will definitely be on the field, I'm sure.
Something funny. Jordan Durr says, what's crazy with our fan base is that we give our rookies no time to learn, but we gave Jameis an eternal clock. All right. We kind of did. Other than that, let's see. Yeah, he is. No. No, I think we can end it on that. Great questions, guys. Oh no, actually one more.
Okay.
Barnes, I missed this one. He says, "What are your expectations of Keyshawn Vaughn? I'm surprised you picked him over Zach Moss. I had Moss in my top 5 running backs. Let's do that one before we head on out."
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think Vaughn is going to be a pretty solid contributor. Again, he's a mature player. He understands what he can do and what he can't do. So I would expect him to have, you know, I think they'll slow him into it. I don't think they'll rush him into anything significant. I think Rojo is going to handle that main load. And you might even see, you know, one of the other running backs on the team, like a Dare or another one, you know, take up, you know, a little bit more of that pass protection type role. But Keyshawn, I think, is going to add some good things to this team. Again, he's a playmaker. He's a guy that can make big plays down the field. And it should be exciting to see that dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of people are going to say, what about pass blocking issues with Rojo? Same thing with Keyshawn Vaughn. I don't care if people are saying he was good in college. This is the NFL. It's a whole other level, a whole lot of different concepts of defenses he's going to have to read blitzing. they send way more people. When you study every day, every second of your life is your career of NFL, it's going to be a lot harder. So, I mean, Dare supposedly is that other guy, and he's practicing with Brady. You don't really see Rojo with Brady. You see Dare, you see Scotty Miller, OJ, Mike Evans at times with Gronk. So Dare's already building that rapport, so that gives him more leverage. So let's see what happens. But I think, yeah, he's going to be thrown in there. He has a lot of things he does well. He doesn't do a lot of things great, but we don't really need greatness. We just need a couple of things here and there. Get us the yards. I don't want Zeke Elliott right now.
Yeah.
Right? But again, so William, someone says, awesome show, guys. See you on the next one. And with that, yeah, let's end it there because we're heading towards an hour. Other than that, guys, thank you again for all the questions. I mean, yeah, it's an off season of quiet, no news. We're going off of rumors, and you brought all the awesome questions, awesome feedback. Yeah, JPP video, we will do that soon as well. It'll probably be next week. But other than that, guys, thank you for entertaining us. I hope we entertained you. Other than that, again, if you haven't liked the video yet, I know there's over 20 of you guys in here. Drop a like down below, please. Help promote the channel. Help let us expand. Do good things. Comment down below some comments. Subscribe. Other than that, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.
All right. Go Bucks.